As we stated in the procedure of export, when goods ready, the seller will set out to arrange for delivery. Delivery of goods in the Sale of Goods Act is defined as a voluntary transfer of possession from one person to another. In this process, transport have to be effected to carry the goods from one place to another. In international sales of goods, the delivery of the goods not only means that the seller delivers the contract goods at the agreed time, place, and in the agreed manners to the buyer, but also to transfer the necessary documents at the stipulated time to the buyer. First of all, you'd better understand the fundamental economic principles guiding transportation management and operations, that are economy of scale and economy of distance. Economy of scale in transportation refers to the characteristic that the transportation cost per unit of weight decreases when the size of the shipment increases. For example, truckload shipments cost less per pound than less than truckload shipments. It is also generally true that larger capacity transportation vehicles, such as rail or water, are less expensive per unit of weight than smaller capacity vehicles like motor or air. Transportation economies of scale exist because fixed expenses associated with moving a load can be spread over the load's weight. The rationale of distance economy is similar to that for economy of scale. Economy of distance refers to the characteristic that the transportation cost per unit of distance decreases as distance increases. Specifically, longer distances allow the fixed expenses to be spread over more miles, resulting in lower overall per mile charge. For example, a shipment of 800 miles will cost less than 2 shipments of the same combined weight of 400 miles. These principles are important considerations when evaluating alternative in transportation strategies or operating practices. The objective is to maximize the size of the load and the distance that is shipped while still meeting customer service expectations. When determining the form of transportation, the size and weight of goods need to be evaluated. Choosing the right mode of freight can save money, save time, decrease damages, reduce errors, and increase efficiency. Thus, the modes of transportation are an important consideration when planning the process of shipment. There are many modes of transport such as water, land, air, etc. Each mode of transportation has its own advantages and disadvantages for shippers to take into consideration. The first step toward choosing the right mode is understanding the aspects that make each mode unique from the others. Water transportation is the most effective mode to transport large quantities of cargo over long distances, and the main routes of water are ocean and inland waterway, such as river, lake, and man-made canals. Shipping by water has been practiced for thousands of years and remains pivotal to today's global trade. 90% of all international trade is accomplished through maritime transportation. Cargo ships travel on almost every major body of water and have a capacity to transport the highest volume of freight of any mode of transportation at the lowest cost. The greatest disadvantage of maritime cargo ships is the speed at which they operate. By far, maritime is the slowest mode of transportation. It is, however, the most efficient for the amount of cargo it is capable of carrying. Currently, there are more than 55,000 merchant ships plying global trade around the world. These ships include general cargo ships, bulk and break-bulk ships, container ships, chemical, oil, and LNG tankers, passenger and various other types of ships. While these are types of ships, these ships could be operating on two main types of services, liner and tramp services. The liner service got its name from the term line voyages, which describes the voyages that follow a schedule and a set route. The ships transporting goods across the routes are called liners. Hence, a liner service is a service of transporting goods that functions according to a fixed schedule, a fixed port rotation, specified punished date, of course, at the advertised ports by high-capacity ocean-going ships. It strictly follows the schedule under all circumstances, unless there is a delay of a call at one of the ports caused by natural or by man-made events. According to a study, every year liner ships carry about 60% of the goods by value transported through international borders by sea. On the other hand, a tramp service or tramper does not operate on a regular route or schedule and is made available for clients who will charter or part charter the vessel for a specific journey or a specific duration. Chartering of a vessel is a maritime term which is used to describe hiring or renting a vessel, especially for bulk cargo transportation. There are different ways in which a charterer can charter the vessel. Charterer can charter the vessel for one voyage, that is, voyage charter, for a particular time period, that is, time charter, or they can hire and rent the vessel as if they are the owner of the vessel, that is, demise or bareboat charter. In each type of charter, charterers and the ship owners have different area of responsibilities. The voyage charter is the most common. Under this method, a ship is leased out for a particular voyage. The charter agreement lists the ports of call, destination, and restriction on cargo, if any. It can refer to a single voyage, a round trip, or a number of consecutive voyages. Thus, the chartering agreement is in first instance a transport agreement. On a voyage charter, the owner bears all the expenses of the voyage. A time charter is a time-bound agreement. As opposed to a voyage charter, the ship owner leases a vessel to a charterer for a fixed period of time, and they are free to sail to any port and transport any cargo, subject to legal regulations. A time charter is more commonly used by more experienced chartering firms when there is a long-term requirement for a vessel. Instead of having to specify the ports and the routes undertaken by the vessel in the charter agreement, the charterer simply hires the boat for a fixed period of time and takes complete control over the vessel in all but name. Although the charterer controls the ship, the maintenance of the vessel still falls under the purview of the owner, as well as the cost of fuel and the stores consumed. Demise charter, or bareboat charter, is a type of charter party where the charterer hires the vessel for a period of time and just hires the ship buyer. In other words, without a master, crew, stores, insurance, or any other provision. The charterer staffs the boat, supplies bankers, and is responsible for running the ship as if it were his own for the period of the contract. Actually, it is less frequently used in ordinary commercial practice. Chartering is an activity within the shipping industry whereby a ship owner hires out the use of their vessel to a charterer. In each type of charter, charterers and ship owners have different areas of responsibilities, as could be seen in the table. Depending on the type of ship and the type of charter, normally a standard contract form called a charter party is used to record the exact rate, duration, and the terms agreed between the ship owner and the charterer. We will continue with this topic next time. See you then.